have to be very careful. They are made of clay and semi-precious stones like lapis lazuli and turquoise and glass.
Can you believe that this piece of block has changed the history of Taposiris Magna? I already named Stela Magna.
In a mind-boggling archaeological breakthrough, a team of renowned archaeologists has made a terrifying discovery inside the long-lost tomb of Cleopatra. While it remains uncertain what terrors lie beneath, archaeologists seem to be on the verge of a significant revelation that will redefine our understanding of one of the most active female rulers of the Ptolemaic Kingdom of Egypt. What secrets are concealed in Cleopatra's tomb? Could they provide a major revelation, filling in the missing links and stories about the Egyptian queen? Let's piece together the findings. When we look at the figure that is supposed to be resting in the tomb, Cleopatra is a name that has long reverberated through the pillars and corridors of Egyptian history. She was known as a woman of intelligence and charisma, but still, she knew how to play the games of politics. Remarkably, Cleopatra ascended the throne as a teenager, commanding respect from all her subjects, even in her youth. Regardless of Cleopatra's power, it's safe to say the climax of her life was shrouded in both tragedy and intrigue. There are a lot of circumstances surrounding her death. To date, the majority of these circumstances remain a mystery. The major thing that historians and archaeologists have been able to piece together is that the Queen of the Nile's fate was deeply entwined with two of the most powerful figures in Roman history, talking about none other than Julius Caesar and Mark Antony. Cleopatra's fate was sealed after Caesar's death, precisely when she aligned herself with Mark Antony. The decisive moment came during their face-off against Octavian. At that point, she reportedly decided to end her life using a venomous snake, an asp. This poignant decision was made when she perceived that defeat was inevitable. However, not everyone accepts the poetic narrative artists and writers have woven around Cleopatra's demise. Some believe there is more to the story than meets the eye, prompting the search for the tomb of Cleopatra. The tomb's location has been one of the greatest mysteries of the past decades. Despite the figure's fame in her era, there has been no trace whatsoever of the location of her tomb. Archaeologists have taken turns trying to pinpoint the location of her resting place, but to no avail. This further confirms the speculations and mysteries surrounding her death. While this has long been the case, there seems to be a breakthrough in recent years. A crew led by Kathleen Martinez seems to have uncovered the final footprints of Cleopatra, and possibly her resting place in the very heart of Egypt. Being a feat like none other, there's an uproar as to how the crew was able to unravel one of the most hidden knowledge and speculative tales of time. Did Kathleen get any heads up from Cleopatra's ancestral line, or was she merely lucky? Whatever it is, one thing is certain. It puts the spotlight on one of the most popular contemporary female archaeologists of our time. Then again, who is Kathleen Martinez? Kathleen Teresa Martinez Berry is an archaeologist who has long had an insatiable passion for uncovering ancient mysteries since she was in law school. And yes, she isn't just any archaeologist. Still, she is also a legal practitioner in the Dominican Republic, regardless of all the achievements that made her become a topic of conversation in the historical halls of her pursuit of Cleopatra's lost tomb. While the search for the tomb continues to this day, the details and results of Kathleen's excavation show that she's the sole person who has ever come so close to uncovering the tomb of the Queen of the Nile. Before Kathleen, several explorers have attempted to locate the tomb for quite some time. While some persisted in their search, most easily gave up, not letting the sands of time erode their other archaeological life ambitions. As the holy grail of archaeology, Cleopatra's tomb has reached out to great archaeologists like Howard Carter. He discovered the tomb of Tutankhamun while leading an expedition in search of Cleopatra's burial site. Even though he was initially energetic about the search, he later got discouraged by the vastness of the Egyptian landscapes, and the lack of concrete clues thwarted his efforts. Around the latter half of the 20th century, the race to uncover Cleopatra's tomb again gained momentum. The legendary underwater explorer Frank Gaudio undertook expeditions in the submerged ancient city of Alexandria, believing that the queen's tomb might be hidden beneath the waves. Despite significant discoveries of underwater ruins, the tomb remained elusive to him and several archaeologists who followed in his footsteps. Considering the achievements of these men in archaeology, it is quite evident how Kathleen's discovery could easily become the biggest thing regarding Cleopatra's final resting place. The expedition of these men and archaeologists before then might indeed have eliminated and narrowed down the possible location options. Still, one thing that remains is the precision of her search. However, still considering the great minds that might have led this quest in the past, saying that Kathleen is the best at what she does would simply be an oversight. Her technical expertise and connection to the human side of history set her apart from her colleagues. Kathleen has her own beliefs about the Queen of the Nile, and they aren't as shady as the history texts paint her to be. For one, she paints Cleopatra as a powerful and intelligent woman who defined societal norms, demonstrating political acumen in a male-dominated world. Not only that, like a few other people, Kathleen believes that her alliances with Julius Caesar and Mark Antony were a strategic maneuver to secure the well-being of her kingdom. That said, Kathleen's beliefs about Cleopatra are completely different from those of the historical stories and texts. The Archaeologist and a couple of other feminists believe that her characterization has been shaped by patriarchal narratives, reducing her complex persona to mere seductive stereotypes. While this may or may not be the persona of the Queen of the Nile, no one truly knows. Hence, there is a need and drive for Kathleen to discover the lost tomb of Cleopatra. How did Kathleen discover the lost tomb? And what terrifying discovery could potentially be exposed within the tomb? As mentioned earlier, Kathleen could only come so close to discovering the lost tomb thanks to the efforts of past archaeologists who attempted the quest. However, there's no way we don't get to give her her due credits. The young female archaeologist imbibed a multidisciplinary approach and integrated historical research. It is also worth noting the pivotal role played by the cutting-edge technology she employed, a luxury not readily available in the past. Kathleen's team adopted ground-penetrating radar, satellite imaging, and other advanced tools to scour the Egyptian landscape for clues. However, the search wasn't random, but strategic and focused. Kathleen Martinez had long focused her search on Taposiris Magna, an extensive temple covering approximately 7 square kilometers, which so happens to be situated around 50 kilometers west of the Mediterranean city of Alexandria. Then, one might wonder what gave out this location, or what made it stand out as a possible location for the lost tomb of Cleopatra. Exploring Taposiris Magna, a temple dedicated to the revered goddess Isis, is essential to comprehend Kathleen's choice. And yes, it truly gets better from here onwards. The temple's significance goes beyond its dedication. Many speculate that it serves as the Egyptian equivalent of the Valley of Kings, given that the tombs of several pharaohs, including King Tut, were discovered in the vicinity. Therefore, uncovering Cleopatra's tomb within this temple could be groundbreaking, solidifying and validating this theory. With Kathleen's unwavering determination, she gradually concluded that Taposiris Magna is one of the many possible sites for the lost tomb that her predecessors overlooked over the years, and she has findings to support this claim. During her and her team's expedition in Taposiris, they uncovered coins with Mark Antony's and Cleopatra's faces on them. There's also the discovery of skeletons, mummies, and the tomb of a Ptolemaic general believed to have served the queen during the Ptolemaic rule. That aside, Kathleen and her crew have come across burial rooms, underground passages, and tablets with encrypted texts that are still puzzled together today. Initially, the notion of a tunnel under the temple seemed impractical, as most archaeologists believed that the blueprints of such structures were not designed that way. When Kathleen expressed her intention to explore beneath the temple, she faced skepticism and ridicule from her peers. However, did she stop there or get discouraged? Not. Instead, they were shocked when they discovered that her ideas and visions were not the product of a fanciful imagination, but held substantial merit. Kathleen discovered that the tunnels and passageways of the temple had been blocked due to major earthquakes that had occurred over the years. Aside from time, aerial bombardments also occurred around the region during the Second World War. They all contributed to sealing up the tunnels of the temple. And so that's how Kathleen has been able to shut her mockers. She did so by revealing to them the diverse and complex nature of the field they were handling. The ancient city of Alexandria is yet another site that gave off Taposiris as a possible location for the tomb of Cleopatra. Standard as a treasure trove of history, the land has continuously unveiled layers of the past that resonate with the legacy of Cleopatra. Over the years, excavations in and around Alexandria have brought forth a wealth of artifacts, shedding light on how grand the city was in its glory days. Treasures were recently found underwater by an exploration led by Frank Gaudio. Much earlier, 3 underwater shipwrecks had been uncovered, and the ships were all Roman ships. In one of the ships, they found the Roman head carved in crystal, a significant remnant of someone important on board the ship. There are also the submerged remnants of ancient Alexandria. This revealed a submerged city that only became submerged due to the changes and effects of time and major weather and climate phenomena. These Roman riches provide an evident backdrop to the life and time of Cleopatra and her sovereign rule with the Romans. It's most likely that Julius Caesar had made it a habit of occasionally sending ships of treasures to adorn the Queen of the Nile. That said, one thing is certain. Her footprints and those of Caesar and Mark Antony remain well embedded in the ancient city of Alexandria. Frank Gaudio learned this, and now Kathleen Martinez has made good use of the knowledge to pinpoint the lost tomb of Cleopatra. While the young female archaeologist remains steadfast in her search for Cleopatra's tomb, she hasn't run short of challenges on her quest. For one, there is the issue of funding. Unlike several archaeologists before her, she arrives in Egypt representing global archaeological institutions like those popular in North America and European universities. Nobody is backing her financially, and all expenses are from her account. While she was being questioned about the estimated costs once upon a time, she refused to let on the information, going a long way to once again confirm the theory that is driven by her passion for unveiling the life of the Queen of the Nile. If there's one thing that Kathleen Martinez has proven over the years, it's that she must not be underestimated. She comes a tad bit closer daily to accomplishing her quest. It's only a matter of time now, and the world is closely watching. However, not everyone is entirely keen on Kathleen's findings. Indeed, anticipation hangs thick in the air. Still, a group of people believe that the possible location of Cleopatra's tomb could unveil terrifying discoveries. And truly, if we are one to say, it's only fair that people have their thoughts about the tomb. The prospect of looking into the secrets concealed for centuries beneath the sands of Taposiris has sparked a lot of curiosity. Historians and enthusiasts are on the edge of their seats wondering what lies underneath. Like various other stories of legend, the stories behind the lost tomb of Cleopatra aren't short of terrifying folklores that transcend the bounds of historical fact. According to the natives, there are whispers of her ghost wandering the ancient corridors of Alexandria and haunting the remnants of her once grand palaces that withstood the sands of time. Not just that, some also believe that the lost tomb in question, which Kathleen is looking for, is being guarded by supernatural forces that don't want her resting place to be disturbed. The tales slightly vary amongst the natives in the area. Some believe that Cleopatra, in her final moments, invoked curses to safeguard her legacy, leaving behind a spectral guardianship over her burial site. During the quiet moments of archaeological expeditions, there are murmurs of unsettling events connected to the presence of Cleopatra. Residents recount spine-chilling stories of inexplicable happenings during efforts to unearth her tomb, ranging from enigmatic nocturnal sounds to abrupt changes in weather, as though nature responds to the disruption of the queen's eternal rest. To this day, tales speak of curses that befall those who dare to disturb her tomb. This narrative probably might have driven or scared away a handful of archaeologists. Even though the media have blamed all the phenomena on several climate changes and physical factors, the natives remain convinced that there is more to the tomb. One of the persons unfazed by these tales of the night is Kathleen Martinez. The question is, should she or should not pay particular attention to the phenomena surrounding the lost tomb of Cleopatra? Well, we wouldn't know the gravity of the situation unless she uncovers the resting place of the queen. What are the implications of Kathleen Martinez's possible discovery of the lost tomb of Cleopatra? The possible discovery of Cleopatra's tomb carries profound implications that extend beyond the confines of archaeology, reaching into the very fabric of history and our understanding of ancient Egypt. Cleopatra, who happens to be a figure of enduring fascination and complexity, ruled over Egypt during political turbulence. This was an era where male dominance was at its peak, and it was almost impossible to see women attaining any seat of influence. That said, if Kathleen can unearth the lost tomb, the impact on Cleopatra's legacy promises to be transformative. A tomb discovery would provide tangible evidence, allowing use to separate fact from fiction. The tomb's artifacts, inscriptions, and remains could offer a more nuanced view of Cleopatra's life, shedding light on her political strategies, cultural contributions, and personal relationships. No longer confined to the realms of speculation and romanticized narratives, the discovery could humanize Cleopatra, revealing the woman behind the myths and legends people have created. Furthermore, the revelation of Cleopatra's tomb would likely have a ripple effect on our understanding of ancient Egypt. The Ptolemaic Kingdom, a Hellenistic state in Egypt founded by Ptolemy I, would be brought into sharper focus. Cleopatra's tomb could provide insights into the cultural synthesis between Hellenistic and Egyptian traditions during this period. The artifacts found within might also offer a glimpse into the time's religious practices, artistic expressions, and daily life. This will enrich our comprehension of the complexities of ancient Egyptian society under foreign rule. Moreover, the tomb's discovery could contribute to our understanding of the Ptolemaic dynasty's governance. We know that Cleopatra, as one of the last rulers of this dynasty, faced the challenges of maintaining Egyptian sovereignty amid Roman influence. However, considering the event's time, there remain many missing links shedding light on the era. The contents of her tomb could reveal aspects of her rule, decisions made in the face of political upheaval, and the complex details of her alliances. There is also the in-depth knowledge of geopolitics that the tomb would probably have to offer. Cleopatra's intersection between Julius Caesar and Mark Antony might be broader and more complex than what the texts have to say. Uncovering the tomb's contents might offer insights into the dynamics of these alliances. Not just that, we might also be able to better understand the powers at play and possibly the consequences of Cleopatra's alliance and political maneuvers. If Kathleen is successful in her quest, she will not only rewrite the narrative surrounding Cleopatra's life, but will also help the world to have wider ramifications for how we look at and interpret history. This means that many people would start to question historical biases more often than before. people will also reconsider the authenticity of long-held assumptions and approach historical facts with an open mind. And this is a good thing. With everyone approaching historical ordeals with a curious and open mind, there's bound to be rational and more precise conclusions, something different from the traditional approach of past archaeologists. As we conclude this captivating journey into the mysteries of Cleopatra's lost tomb, the prospect of terrifying discoveries looms large in our minds. The tales of eerie occurrences, the echoes of ancient legends, and the relentless pursuit of Kathleen Martinez have brought us to the brink of unlocking the secrets concealed for centuries. And yes, everyone is itching to learn more about what unfolds. To join the wagon, endeavor to like and subscribe for more updates. Safe.